topic given to me to speak about is 5G monetization. Probably that's the elephant in the room, but I would like to give you my perspective on it. First of all, I want to say that it's been almost 6 quarters since India launched on 1st October 22 5G, and I think the speed at which 5G, the new technology, has been made available to every nook and corner of India. Majority of the urban India is covered, many parts of rural India is covered, and every day you add more places which get covered. So I think it is kudos to the vision of everybody and everybody's hard work that we are now able to make a technology really democratized and available everywhere. You travel outside India, you realize it's not that 5G is everywhere, even for very advanced Western countries. So I think this is really a great job done by the Indian telecom sector of providing this high-speed connectivity to everybody, the masses. I think it's a really commendable. And people actually, when we go out, and whether it was Mobile World Congress or you meet other people, everyone says what India is doing, world is watching, because it will not just, you can say, just give the service everywhere, but also the use cases, which probably I'll just allude to, will also get created because of the availability of 5G technology. Let me tell what, from an Airtel perspective, 5G has done for us. First thing, India is a data-hungry market. Every user uses lots and lots of data, not just paid, but also free. A lot of channels. We love our entertainment. We love our sports. So yes, a lot of data. And 5G provides the cheapest wireless data. And when we did our calculations, we find that there is a significant drop on cost per GB if you see between 4G and 5G. Yes, it is a factor of technology, factor of 100 megahertz tranche of spectrum versus the smaller tranches of spectrum available in 4G, and also the use of technologies like Massive MIMO. So I think really this has given us India a lot of capacity, and we are not done yet. There are still, I would say, 200 to 250 million users in India who use technologies, but they don't use data heavily. So these guys will come on to the networks. They'll probably come to 4G, and the 4G guys will move to 5G, but we will need a lot of capacity. And absolutely timely coming of this technology, that this capacity, we do not have a capacity crunch. It was visible when one of the crowdsourced data platform listed that India has jumped many positions on the world ranking on high speed. I think we were always choked on our 4G because of the spectrum availability and the high usage and the high number of users. 5G comes and you are able to really get a high speed in this thing. So it is fantastic for us also, because you are able to create large capacity in one go versus upgrading again and again. It was talked about, there was a comment about energy. So I really agree to that, because 5G not only creates huge capacity, but if we were to see watt per GB, this is significantly more efficient than 4G, purely because we have 4 bands in 4G versus single band in 5G, which gets you that. So really good on energy. So that done, it starts saying how do you monetize other than EMBB, which everybody is using. FWA is, or air fiber as we call it here, is the, I would say, definitely a case where it will get monetized. Why? We cannot fiberize every place. It is like not just money issue, but also time consuming issue. So if anybody needs a Wi-Fi kind of speeds, 200-300 Mbps kind of a speed in a location, it could be a remote farmhouse, it could be a remote village, somebody wants to run a school, somebody wants to run, somebody talked about, you know, the inclusion initiatives of government like e-health, e-governance, e-finance. So all of them gets a boost moment you get a high-speed internet available at every nook and corner. So I would say FWA enables that in a very elegant manner. And luckily for us, by the time we come down to FWA, the technology is mature. The modem prices are now reasonable. So we are really able to create a cost of home pass very comparable to a home pass in FTTH, which means now the operators will not shy away from deploying air fiber or FWA in large numbers. I think this is great, because it will really bridge the high-speed internet gap, especially to the remote areas, because cities have FTTH in majority of the cases, but remote areas don't have. But let's talk about the industrial 5G. What does it bring and what it can bring? 5G had two promises, I think maybe three. One is high speed, which is there, which gets in this thing. The two other promises was high concurrency. So a lot of IoT can be in a smaller place versus a 4G led Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi led network. Second is low latency. Uh, I am happy to share with all of you that these cases have started to emerge. I can share a few cases with you. One case is a factory, which is a commercial contract, and they are going to run this factory as 5G first. Just to give you, this is another second or third factory of that company. In the first factory, it was wired. Second factory, it was hybrid between wired and Wi-Fi. And this is one factory which would be 5G first. Big confidence boost to the technology guys that somebody is ready to run the factory. We all must know that a factory goes down because IoT, the loss is in really big numbers. So it's an essential service, it's a high resilience service. So somebody is ready to bet and saying, this technology will give it to me what I need for a factory automation. I also want to share, this is probably high concurrency, resilient network, which is a use case. We are talking to some, generally, commonly we can call as first responders, where they have to go on site, but there is a back office which wants to monitor the situation. Now this is not possible because that remote, let's take for example a police as a use case, where police van and the policeman's body wearing camera is not able to transmit real high speed, high definition images back to their control center so that either he can get a backup or get some decision. But come a slicing based approach where you can give a dedicated bandwidth and you can support IoT, which could be RedCap. It was mentioned today is not RedCap, today is purely 5G, but tomorrow it could be RedCap also if you want a little bit more low cost IoTs to happen. Imagine this happening in our country where you could have either the fire guys or the police guys or anybody who's first responder to give somebody a support, even ambulances. There was a use case in the 2022 IMC which was shown on ambulance. In fact, yesterday I was talking to another gentleman. He was saying this ambulance is a real use case because it was told that most of the deaths happen during the ambulance journey. Why? Because persons probably delay the ambulance at the last moment, don't call, things probably is okay, no need to call ambulance, and then they call ambulance, and then the person who's accompanying you, the medical worker who's accompanying you, probably is not the most trained doctor. Imagine if he or she could get a remote guidance and somebody could remotely watch that patient on his way to the hospital, we can save lives. I think this is definitely a use case which should go in. So in my mind, there is no doubt that 5G use cases will be coming and they will be monetization use cases. Well, will they be money spinners? I don't think that much, because eventually for India, the main money would be always EMBB. All of us using data, more people who will come onto data trains probably will do, you can say, high-speed data transmission on the go. They will probably be the first user and the revenue contributor to the telcos should be here, and that is the reason we will invest more. But these use cases will start bringing in efficiency. They'll start bringing in efficiency and will start contributing back to the economy as a larger concept, not just as a private network being set up at an airport or a hospital. Hospitals can use private networks a lot, where the caregivers can really use automation, and that automation can be every place of the hospital because of this. All of them, what I'm saying, are in some form or other, either commercial or trial stage, which means people are experimenting. If we did not have the ubiquitous 5G, you cannot experiment. You will go to a lab, you will test it out, you can't experiment beyond a point. But if you have a ubiquitous 5G, even without telco intervention, you can see what can I do with this 5G, can I make some use case, things like that. So in nutshell, in my mind, 5G has been great for India. It gave us the capacity, it gave us the speeds which we needed. We all know there is a direct correlation with internet availability and internet speed with the, you can say, GDP growth of the country, and we are all really looking forward to next couple of years, maybe the next decade, to be a very high growth, and I'm sure all of us as telecom fraternity will play our role in it. I believe private networks will play a bigger role in it because we need efficient factories, we need efficient workforce, we need efficient infrastructure, and I think a combination of 5G, cloud, IoT, automation will create these use cases. So in summary, 5G has been good for India. It has been timely. I must also say timely because if we were too early, we would have probably used Gen 1 radios, which were high power guzzlers, and they were heavyweights. And right now we are in Gen 2, and we are already talking to our partners. I see some of them here about Gen 3. So I believe this technology needs to really get used in the way it is being designed to get used. We should see some slicing use cases which will give us that, you can say, resilient, committed network which can't get interfered. So that said, thank you very much for listening to me. And again, I want to congratulate all of you on doing a great job on 5G. Thank you.